Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I've got some products that I haven't tried yet that I thought we could try together. So I'm going to be putting all of them on my face. I've got pretty much a full face of entirely new products, and I'm looking forward to trying them out for you and giving you my first impressions and chatting with you along the way because I am going on a no-buy. And I want to talk to you about it. So if that sounds good, just keep watching and let's get into some makeup. Okay, I've zoomed you in slightly. So I think what we're actually going to do is start with skincare because I received some new skincare products from Skin 1004 from their Madagascar Centella line. And I've been using them pretty much every morning and I really, really like them. So I'm going to start with the Madagascar Centella Probio Cica Essence Toner. So I guess this is supposed to be an essence or a toner. I don't really know the difference between those two things anyway, but I just put a little bit in my hands and press it into my face. I don't know how you're supposed to apply it, but this is just what I do. But it's just a really nice, like, light, almost watery texture. But I feel like it primes my skin really well for serum. So this is from the same Madagascar Centella line, the Probio Cica Intensive Ampule. So I just basically do the same thing with this. It's a little bit like milkier than the Essence Toner. And to be honest with you, I'm not even 100% sure on the claims of this line. I think it's similar to their other Madagascar Centella products, in that it's supposed to like balance everything out. So redness, but also like oiliness and dryness. It's just supposed to bring a nice equilibrium to your skin, which my skin can always use. But my skin really seems to like the Madagascar Centella stuff. So I was really excited to receive this gifted for review. And I did my review, but I haven't stopped using it since. So I'm loving it. I can link the reel that I did on Instagram where I demoed all these products again. And you can see like close-up shots of the products and everything. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. And this is the moisturizing step. So this is the Probio Cica Enrich Cream. This one's a little bit funny because it's kind of like, it looks a little bit weird. It's like stretchy. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of freaky, but my dry skin really loves it. So today is Saturday. It's Saturday morning. We actually just made a coffee run. So I'm drinking my almond milk latte and just having some relaxing time to do my skincare and play with makeup, which I don't always get during the week, but I need this. It's been a long week. I know it's August and it's still summer, but I am a hot coffee girl. And I feel like I'm in the minority there. Like most people I know prefer iced or, I don't know, like a cold brew or something. Let me know your preferred coffee order down below. Are you a hot coffee lover like me, no matter the season, no matter the weather? Or are you a cold coffee, iced coffee, cold brew, frozen, whatever kind of a person? There's just something to me about the ritual of drinking a warm beverage that I find a lot more relaxing, and yeah, I just like it better. I don't drink them as fast, and I think I enjoy the drink more because of that. This is just my theory, my working theory after many years. Okay, and then they also sent a sunscreen. This is really, really nice. This is also from the Madagascar Centella line, but it's the Hyalu Cica Water Fit Sun Serum. SPF 50 plus and PA plus 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 plus. I love the texture of this. It's super lightweight, but it's still very hydrating somehow without being greasy, because I've also had sunscreens in the past that just break up my makeup and make my mascara smudge all over my face and just never set down. And this one isn't like that either. It just, I don't know, it's the perfect blend of hydrating and lightweight, and it doesn't have a scent, which is also a big plus for me because sometimes sunscreen scents are just really, really a little too strong for the day-to-day. Put some sunscreen down my neck as well. I have historically neglected to put sunscreen on my neck, but now that I've got some neck wrinkles forming, I'm trying to be better about that. Okay, I don't even know if this is totally rubbed in because I've just been using the viewfinder as my mirror. So hang on a second. Okay. Everything's looking pretty much blended. So let's talk about the products that I'm going to be using today. So the skincare was gifted. I was under no obligation to share that in a video, but I just wanted to because I've been using it every single day and I thought some of you might be interested. I'm pretty sure all of these products, all of these products were purchased by me in the Sephora 4th of July sale. So that's how long I've had these products sitting around unopened, which is part of the reason why I'm going on a no buy, which I'll talk more about in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that I purchased all of these products. The only gifted things in this video, I believe, are the skincare and the brushes. I received 2 brushes and an Ipsy box or bag for August, and I wanted to try them out with you. They're from the brand Beauty for Real, and they just look really nice and fluffy, and they're very, very soft. So one is for powder and one is for complexion, and I thought we could just try these out today. But everything else, I purchased myself. Okay, so Sephora had this 4th of July sale way back in July. I know we're well into August now. So I purchased a few things that I'd had my eye on in that sale. As far as foundation goes, I don't have anything new to show you for foundation and concealer, but I am just gonna try a product that I had purchased from Ulta several months ago that's been sitting in my drawer and I haven't used it yet before we get into all the Sephora stuff. This is from Revolution and it's called the Line Fix Under Eye Primer Rehab. It says under eye primer to smooth and fill fine lines before makeup application. So I felt like this was the kind of thing that I should probably put on before foundation and concealer since it is like a priming step. Here's what that looks like. It looks like it's gonna be like a silicone primer texture. And yeah, as I'm touching it, it does kind of feel a bit like that. I'm just gonna use a really small amount of this because I don't want my under eye concealer to crease too much. But let's just try this under the eyes and see. A good experiment would probably be to put it just on this side and leave this side alone. So maybe I'll actually do that. So help me remember it. This is the side that has the under eye primer on it, and this is the side that does not. So far, I don't really see an immediate difference other than maybe a tiny touch of blurring on the side that has the product. Yeah, maybe a tiny touch of blurring to where the lines under this eye don't look as pronounced as this eye, but I think it might be more apparent when I have my makeup on. So let me go do foundation and concealer, and I will be back when it's time for the next step. Okay, I just did foundation and concealer. I used my old standby Project 10 Pan products, the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer and the Kosas Revealer Concealer. But before I put any powder on my under eye area, I just kind of wanted to show you what the area is looking like. So remember, this is the side that had the under eye primer and this is the side without. You'll have to let me know if you see a significant difference, but I have to say I don't really think I see a huge difference between the sides. You can see the concealer is still creasing in my fine lines under there. I always just tap those little lines out before I powder anyway, but I'm just gonna put a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury, what is this? Airbrush Flawless Finish powder under the eyes. Typically under the eyes, I use the Pat McGrath blurring setting powder, but that powder is very blurring. So I don't wanna skew the results of the primer. So I'm just gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury today, which is still a little bit blurring, but it tends to not be quite as magical under my eyes so that hopefully we can really see. Let me know, do you see a difference? I think if I hold the mirror really, really close, I see a tiny bit of blurring going on, but it's less to do with my fine lines and it's more to do with just like skin texture. So I don't know. We'll see what my under eyes are looking like by the time we finish the rest of the makeup. I'm gonna zoom you back out though, because I think this is a little close. In the sale, the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in the shade Seychelles was half price, I want to say. I think it was like $13 or $14. The Breezy line from Tarte makes one of my favorite cream blush formulas of all time, but I hadn't tried the bronzer yet. So I thought if it's the same formula or similar formula to the blushes, that the chances are good that I would like the bronzer. I'm gonna try this on the Beauty For Real complexion brush because I just applied my tinted moisturizer with my fingers. So I haven't had a reason to use this yet. So I'm just gonna see if I can pick up a little bit of this product. And just kind of push that into my skin. Ooh. I really like the shape of this brush, that it's got like a slight angle to it. It makes it really nice for cheekbone areas. Now, I don't know if this bronzer was just discounted on Sephora, but it's still available on Tarte's website, or if it's just completely being discontinued as a product, which would break my heart because I love the Breezy line from Tarte. If you know, please let us know in the comments. This looks like it's the same formula as the blushes that I love so much. Do you see how that just sits nicely on the skin? It's almost like an airbrushed finish. I just love the way that formula looks on the skin because it almost gives a little bit of coverage, if that makes sense, to even out the skin texture in the areas where you place it, but it doesn't look heavy on the skin either. It's just a really beautiful light airbrush and bronze. The color, I will say, is pretty warm. So if this is still available and you are any deeper in skin tone than I am, the color Seychelles I think is probably going to be a little too orange for you. If you're pretty fair, I think it would work. But even for me, if they had a shade slightly deeper than this, I would be interested to try it. But so far, loving this. I think it is a tad warm, but I think it's going to work with the rest of my makeup on and not look too orangey in person, at least. I actually have here a contour product that's still somewhat new to me. I've used it over on my Instagram and I think my TikTok, but I haven't used it on YouTube yet, which is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour in the shade Light Medium. Maybe we put a little bit of this on to kind of add some coolness and depth back. This is obviously not from the Sephora sale. I got this at Ulta. Just do a little bit of this product because I feel like a little of it went a long way the past few times I've used it. This is obviously trying to dupe the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, which is a product that I love. I have it right here. Mine's actually almost empty. I've used it so much. And this shade, I have the light medium shade in the e.l.f. one. It's definitely lighter than, what shade do I have in the Charlotte Tilbury? I have fair medium in the Charlotte Tilbury, and I definitely think it's a little deeper than this. But it's not a bad shade. I know I'm probably like the last person in the world to try this e.l.f. product. I feel like lots of people have already incorporated this into their makeup routines, but you know, I tried to hold off. I tried to use the Charlotte Tilbury one almost all the way up until I purchased one of the dupes. I feel like that just added a little bit more depth and a little bit more of a cool contour, ashy kind of a tone to the really warm bronzer. What do we think? I like it, and I love this brush. It makes the products feel like they're just blending themselves, so wow. This was a brand I hadn't heard of before, Beauty For Real, but so far really loving this complexion brush. I might just kind of try to wipe off any of that bronzer that's on the brush and also use this for blush because I picked up a blush in the sale. Also pretty heavily discounted, so I don't know what's going on, if these are being discontinued or reformulated or what. Actually, Did I see an email from Melt saying that these are being reformulated? I don't know. Let us know if you know in the comments. But anyway, it's the Melt Cream Blush Light in the shade Sandy Cheeks. So this is pretty orangey for me. I typically don't go for a super peachy orange blush, but I felt like it was a really nice summery tone that would look good when I have my self tanner on. I don't today, so we'll see how this looks, but I thought it would pair really nicely with like blues and greens on the eyes too, or even just like really warm tones on the eyes. And I've heard lots of good things about this formula, so let's give it a try. Wow, it's very, very emollient. I'm gonna try to show you. Maybe you can see both in the pan and on my finger swatch how hydrated that is. So whereas the Tarte Breezy line is sort of like a dry cream, it's a lot more kind of stiff and putty-like. This one looks like it's gonna be much more of like a cream, true cream kind of a formula. Maybe I just try this with my finger over here and blend with the brush. Wow, that blended in really, really easily. That's beautiful. It looks really seamless on my skin as well. Let's try just picking some up on the brush on the other side. Woo, okay, maybe that over applied. I always over apply blush though on this channel, so nothing new there. Gosh, that looks really pretty. I'm taking it across my nose too because I feel like it's kind of a sun-kissed shade. So we're just gonna really go for it. Wow, that's lovely. Definitely a very different formula from something like I said, the Tarte or the e.l.f. putty blushes, in that it's got a lot of hydration to it, but I think it makes my skin look really hydrated in the process. I'm not sure if you can see, it's giving me a little bit of radiance, even though I don't have any highlighty or glowy products on. Sorry, I have a hair stuck in my eyelashes. You know when you have a hair like on your face somewhere while you're doing your makeup and you can't find it and it's the most annoying thing in the world? That's what we're dealing with currently. Hold please. So anyway, back to the blush. I think it looks really, really beautiful on my face. If I were to compare this blush, I would compare it to the Tower 28 cream blushes. They have that same amount of like emollient hydration to the formula. My gripe with the Tower 28 is that it doesn't always have the best longevity on my face, which is why I ended up liking the Tarte Sea Breezy so much. Because it is a little bit drier, I find that it stays on my face for a while. So my only concern with this is that my skin, you know, I have really dry skin and sometimes it just drinks things up, and I'm a little bit concerned that that's gonna happen with this one and this color is gonna fade. But we should be able to tell if that's the case by the time my makeup is finished at the end of this video. So this will be a good test to see how well this is gonna last. I am just gonna powder a bit through my T-zone, and I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless for that. I'm actually gonna do my brows and prime my lids as well, because I think the next thing we've got is eyeshadow. Stay tuned. I will be right back with the very exciting eyeshadow palette purchase that I made. This is the Melt Gemini palette, cult classic. Hopefully lives up to the hype, but we will see. Okay, we're back. I've powdered and I've done my brows. I also primed my lids with the Ulta Beauty Matte Eyeshadow Primer, and I just set them with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless finish. And I'm actually just gonna curl my lashes quickly so I don't have to do it after I apply the eyeshadow and potentially wreck my eyeshadow look. I'm sure you've seen this palette about 1,001 times if you've watched any amount of beauty YouTube videos, but it is the most gorgeous warm toned plus green palette, which is just right up my alley of what I love in eyeshadow. But I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I kind of want to put as many of these colors as I can onto my eyes. And I'm realizing that there's only 2 shimmers in here, which is interesting. I feel like I probably knew that, but I had forgotten. So seeing it again is, yeah, it's interesting to note just how many mattes there are in here. If I'm not mistaken, I think Melt's shimmers have been critiqued. Is it the shimmers that people don't like? But they do like the mattes. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So maybe, yeah, maybe it's for the best that there's more mattes in here. You all know how much I love matte eyeshadow, so I'm not complaining about it, but I am thinking potentially I could use both of the shimmers in one look and kind of do like a warm golds and greens, sort of like, you know what this is reminding me of is actually the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. Just because there's like this really warm mustard yellow in here along with the greens and neutrals. So maybe I could use that as like my inspo and do some goldy greeny mixing of the warm and the green. I think I'm just gonna let it flow and see what happens. I'm gonna start with this lightest shade Luna through the crease just to see kind of what we're working with here. And while I'm doing my eyeshadow, I'm gonna talk to you about my no-buy. I have tried doing no-buys in the past, makeup no-buys in particular, and I found them really challenging because I'm in the beauty space. I mean, this isn't like my full-time job, but I do consume a lot of beauty content. Most beauty content is focused on new releases and reviewing products and kind of keeping up with what's coming out. And until I found the project panning space, which I think a lot of you are also part of, I felt like I couldn't engage with beauty content without feeling pressured to buy. So trying to do a no-buy while continually watching people reviewing new makeup, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure if you don't have a ton of discipline and willpower, which, you know, I don't. So I've done no-buys, I've done low-buys, I've kind of tried different variations of cutting down my makeup spending and consumption in the past. I'm just gonna take this warm brown shade Polka Dot next and continue to kind of warm up the crease slightly. But I will say that project panning and having like specific usage goals has been the #1 thing that has helped me become more mindful with what I'm bringing into my collection. So if that's something that you haven't tried yet and you want to maybe cut down on your spending or just be a little bit more mindful of what you're buying makeup wise, that would be like my #1 tip. And of course, that's not really what this video is about. I could make a whole separate video about that topic, but it's related to this no-buy in that for the first time, I feel like I could actually be successful on a no-buy, and that's for a few main reasons. The biggest reason being that if you didn't watch my last video, I just got engaged and I now have huge life events like a wedding and a honeymoon that I would rather be putting my money toward than makeup. So that is really helpful when it comes to motivation, is having something that I really would like to be saving for that means a little bit more to me, a lot more to me, than purchasing the newest eyeshadow palette. I'm just gonna take a little bit of Lorelei, which is the mustard yellow, and I'm gonna put that primarily through the front part of my crease. But the other source of my motivation for a no-buy is that my collection is very large. I have been so lucky to receive gifts from friends. I received a bunch of new eyeshadow palettes that my friend Liz decluttered from her collection. I haven't even showed those to you yet, I don't think, but I will. And I have been very blessed to be able to receive some gifted products, which is something that I honestly never thought would happen for me. I still kind of can't get over the fact that brands want to send me stuff and have me share about it. But that does mean that my collection has gotten larger. And it's not like a moral judgment on myself that I have a large makeup collection. I don't feel guilty about it in that way. But I do feel very strongly that I want to be using all the makeup that I have, and this video is evidence of the ways that I haven't been doing that, because I've had these products that I was really, really excited to get and to have in a video and to show you. I've had them in my collection since the 4th of July, and I still, you know, it's what? We are almost in mid-August and I still haven't had a chance to film a YouTube video with them. And that for me is a signal that I definitely need to slow down on bringing things into my collection. If I can't even keep up with the videos that I want to film with the products that I'm getting, which isn't even addressing like Instagram or TikTok content as well, I just feel behind on all of that stuff. And so the fact that I'm feeling behind where I've received products or I've bought products and I haven't yet made content with them is a really good sign to me that I've got a little bit too much going on. I've got a little bit too many products competing for my attention, and I would really, really benefit from just taking a break from, at the very least, purchasing a lot. I'm just gonna dip into the shade Fire OG, which is like, it's kind of like the mid-tone green matte in the palette, and put that on the outer part of my crease. When it comes to PR, I'm still gonna be accepting PR. I mean, I say PR, I'm not really on any like brand PR lists. I do have some access to gifted products for review through different platforms, but I'm kind of taking a pause on that because I don't know, I've just felt too behind on posting reviews. For the most part, when it comes to things like skincare as well, I've got plenty of skincare. I've got backups of skincare. I don't really need to be going out of my way to receive PR for skincare or for makeup. So if it's something where I have to like apply or I have to, you know, opt in for PR, I'm kind of putting a pause on all of that. But you know, if it was a brand, like a dream brand reached out to me and wanted to send me something, I wouldn't say no to that kind of PR. It's just the PR where I do have control of what I'm bringing in that I'm taking a pause on because I've got more than I need. I've got more than I can even review. I guess what I'm saying is I just want to be a little bit more selective about what I'm bringing into my collection from PR and stop bringing things into my collection altogether when it comes to purchasing them from my own pocket. I think this will help me a lot to feel less overwhelmed by my collection, to make sure I'm rotating through everything that I already have, be more creative with my content. It'll also help me make more progress with my panning goals because I'll have less products that I am trying to share my energy toward, and I can just kind of focus in on the ones that I really do want to be working on instead of having them compete with new things all the time, as well as saving me money and allowing me to put money toward my wedding and my honeymoon and big life events, all of those things that they're feeling a little bit more urgent to me at this point than the purchase of makeup. Okay, I just changed my lighting around a little bit because it's getting really dark outside. I think we're about to have a storm. But I'm gonna go in next with the shade Leo, which is the deepest green matte. And I'm just gonna start putting that on the outer corner to really deepen up. So far, so good with these mattes, by the way. I mean, I'm putting together a pretty muddy look, so I feel like it's going to look a little bit muddy just because of the nature of the colors that I'm using. But I really feel like that's the spirit of this palette, is like a little bit grungy, which I love grungy looks, and it also frees you up from having to be so perfect and precise with your application. So I guess if there was something that I was like absolutely dying to have, my birthday is in December, and obviously we have Christmas in December. So I always have that as like you know, I can put something on my Christmas list or a birthday wish list if, you know, my fiance or my friends or my family members wanted to gift me something for those occasions. But for the most part, I feel like I have everything. And that's the kind of thing that I really want to focus on, is being able to feel grateful for everything that I have instead of being stressed out by it. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure many of you can understand where I'm coming from, and I know a lot of you are doing no buys or low buys as well. And from some of the content that I've seen from all of my friends on here, you are all quite successful with it. So I am taking inspiration from all of you. I can actually list some of my favorite YouTube and Instagram accounts that do low buy and no buy and panning content in the description box below, because I found that nowadays that's the content that I even prefer watching, even above like brand new makeup launch reviews and things like that, just because it's so much more satisfying to me to see people use their makeup and make their makeup look loved. And that's what I want. I want a collection where my makeup looks loved. So check out the description box if you're looking for some inspiration in that way. And also, if you are doing a project, a panning project, or a no buy or a low buy, and you have some good tips, I would love to hear them. If you don't mind just leaving a comment, because I feel like that would be really helpful for me and maybe for some other people watching too, so we can all kind of, yeah, just share what we've learned along the way. I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the shade Mochi, which is the lightest green matte, and I'm gonna blend out this outer corner with that. So here comes the rain. I'm sorry if you can hear that, but hopefully it's relaxing and not distracting in the background. So another thing I would be really interested to know is what kind of content you would be interested in. I feel like with my channel, I've tried to strike a balance between panning content and using new stuff. I've still got new stuff that I haven't used yet, so don't worry. There's still some videos that I have in the works for trying new makeup products. I'd be really interested to hear what content you all enjoy that is not necessarily revolving around like what I'm doing today, which is trying new makeup. But is it these more kind of like chatty, get ready with me style videos? Is it, you know, 3 looks, 1 palette kind of style videos? Are there any palettes that you would want to see me do multiple looks from? Is it collection videos? You know, maybe I pull a Lauren May Beauty and show you what's in my collection and just play with the makeup that I have and do swatches and share mini reviews along the way. I love watching those style of videos, but I would love to hear from you all what you would like to see as I am doing this no buy. There's no hard deadline on this. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it. I haven't set any hard rules this time. I am, however, tracking my no buy over on my Instagram stories. So if you haven't followed me there yet, I always have my Instagram linked below, and I try to update my tracker via my stories every few days to keep myself accountable and keep myself on track. All right, I think I'm ready for some shimmers now. So I'm gonna start with the shade Gemini, which is this kind of warm gold shimmer on the inner part of my lid, and then I'm gonna put Goals, which is the green shimmer, on the outer half. I don't know how this is gonna look, but we're just gonna try it. And I'm just gonna try picking these up with my fingers. Ooh, that shade Gemini is actually a really pretty bronze. Let's see how this looks going onto the eyes. Wow. I was not expecting that. I don't know. I think I had it in my head that most people don't like melt shimmers, but did I have that wrong? Because this is stunning. It looks foiled. Okay, well, that's beautiful. Let me go do that on the other eye. Oh my goodness. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh my gosh. Are you seeing this? It looks like molten gold on my eyes. Incredible. Okay, so let's try the green. Ooh, that one's pretty too. This is definitely giving me Natasha Denona Yucca vibes though. I'm just gonna take a little bit more of Gemini to kind of blend into the green in the middle. So maybe I had it backwards and the melt shimmers are the standouts of their eyeshadow palettes, but I liked the mattes too, so I don't know. Did they reformulate? What was people's issue with this palette? Everything has been great so far. I'm just gonna take my blending brush and make sure the shimmers are blended in at the edges here. Tiny bit of fallout from the bronzy shimmer underneath, but that's no big deal. I'm gonna take the shade Leo, which is the deepest green matte, and just connect that up to the outer corner. And then maybe just a little bit of Mochi, which is the lightest green matte, to kind of blend that out. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. What do we think? Love it. I love this look. I really, really am impressed by the quality of the shimmers, but the mattes are also great. I'm pretty sure I'm the last person to try this palette, but let me just reiterate the hype around it, that I think it's really, really nice. Do you have this palette? Let me know. I would be interested to know. And also, what are your favorite looks that you do with this palette if you have it? I'm just gonna put on some of my Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. So yeah, I'm going on a no-buy and I'm really looking forward to it actually. It doesn't feel like a punishment this time. I think when I've tried to do no-buys before, it definitely felt that way because it was like a moral judgment on myself. Like, your spending is out of control. What's wrong with you? Don't you have any discipline? Don't you have any willpower? Blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't feel like that this time. It just feels like, okay, we've got an enormous makeup collection. We've got a million eyeshadow palettes. We're kind of good. So what else am I excited about? And the things I'm excited about are life experiences and just other facets of life. But that doesn't mean that I don't still love makeup, and that doesn't mean that I don't want to make makeup content. I do, and I will. I think it's just going to be more of what my channel always was supposed to be, which was using my makeup and showing you what I'm using and showing you multiple ways of using the same things that we already have, and project panning and all of that stuff. But yeah, do leave any requests you have below. The video I'm making today was actually a request from my friend Lexi. I'll have her linked in the description box below too, because she's been on a no-buy for like years at this point, and I'm super inspired by her in that way because I don't know if my no-buy is gonna last years, plural. I mean, who knows? But yeah, very, very inspiring. Okay, speaking of products that I already have, there's not really a perfect inner corner shade for me in this palette. So I'm actually gonna take my Becca, I always forget what this is called, and I've been mentioning it in videos since January. It's the Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. I'm working on this on my Project 10 pan, and I'm reaching the end, but there's still some product left. So I'm finding lots of different ways I can use it. Haven't used it as eyeshadow yet, but I'm gonna give it a try. So I just put some on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna pick it up with a brush, and I'm gonna use this as my inner corner highlight. I think that works just fine. There you go. That creativity is already sprouting, so it's starting my no-buy. Look at that. And then another product, mixing the old with the new. I'm going to just line my lips with my MAC lip liner in the shade Whirl, which is also in my Project 10 pan. And then for lips, I think this was a Rudy Berry recommendation. I picked up the Sephora Clean Glossy Lip Oil in the shade Tamarind. During the sale, I'm pretty sure Sephora collection was 30% off, so this was pretty cheap. And these, I don't know if they're discontinuing them. I've never seen them physically in stores, and they seem to go in and out of stock online a lot. Let's see what it's like. Ooh, I like the color. It's a nice neutral brown. Not too orangey, as a lot of browns tend to go on me. There's no real smell either. It's just like a makeup-y kind of a smell. That's really pretty. Got a good amount of shine to it, and I feel like it complements the eye look really well as well. Maybe I should go back through all the products that I used today and just give you some closing thoughts on them. So I already raved about the skincare. So if you are in the market for some skincare that's just pretty middle of the road, like no crazy actives and high percentages and nothing that's going to upset the apple cart of your skin, I feel like you might really like this Madagascar Centella line. And then I tried out the Revolution Line Fix Under Eye Primer. Let's reevaluate now that I've got the rest of my makeup on. So I can even zoom you in again. Again, let me know if you see a dramatic difference between this under eye and this under eye, but I don't. Not enough to like recommend you run out and buy this product right away. I will keep trying it, and if I notice that it's really making a difference in my makeup all of a sudden, I'll update you, but so far I just don't know. I mean, I've definitely got lines under my eyes. They're not the most pronounced lines in the world, but they're there, and I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like this didn't do much. But like I said, I will keep trying this and I'll update you on what I notice. Then we had the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in the shade Seychelles. I feel like this has faded a touch as I've been doing the rest of my makeup, but I think it's actually probably for the best because this shade is just a little bit warm and a little bit too orange. The formula, 10 out of 10, I love it. It went on so easily and just blended in beautifully. It's actually still there. If I look at my face, I think it's still there. I think it's just kind of melded in with my skin at this point, and it looks a little bit more natural, which I think is good. So I potentially can't really comment on the longevity just yet, but so far, so good on that bronzer. The Melt Blush Light in the shade Sandy Cheeks. I think I still see this on my skin as well, although same thing, it seems to have melded in with the rest of my makeup. The only thing I'm noticing with this is that it seems to have broken up my foundation underneath. Like if you look at the center of my face where I first applied the blush, my foundation seems to have kind of disappeared in that area. So I'm not sure if it's how emollient this product is or the way that I applied it with the brush. Maybe the brush kind of picked up the foundation underneath. I'm not sure, but something to be aware of and that I'll keep an eye on as I continue to try this. The color I love, and I think it really does have potential. I might just apply it with a sponge or just with my fingers and blend it in with my fingers and not grab the brush. But otherwise, I think this is really pretty. It has a lot of potential, and I have high hopes that it's going to become one of my most reached for cream blushes. I forgot to mention the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand contour in light medium. I think, again, like all of my cheek products have melded into one at this point, which is good because this looks really natural. I still see a bit of shadowing to my cheekbones, which is what I want from a contour. I just want that little bit of extra depth and definition. But I don't know, if you were any deeper than I am in skin tone, you could probably use the next darkest shade of this because this one is just, let me swatch it. If you look at the shade of this contour wand next to, say, like a powder bronzer, like this is the Marc Jacobs in Tantastic, they're pretty much the same shade, right? So this contour wand ends up being more of like a bronzer than a true contour, unless you were really, really, really fair. So for me, after I finish this one and after I'm not on a no-buy, I would be interested to try the next deepest shade. Obviously, I'm not running out and purchasing it anytime soon. So I may just end up using this as a cream bronzer or as a mixer with bronzers that look a little bit too orange as I'm applying them, just to add a little bit more of that cool tone to them. Formula-wise, I think it's good. I think it's easy to blend. Is it better than the Charlotte Tilbury? In my opinion, no, just because I love the Charlotte Tilbury one so much and it was pretty much love at first use. I did not have that experience with this. I've used this, you know, a handful of times now, and every time I'm just sort of like, yeah, it's nice, but it's not blowing my mind in the same way that the Charlotte Tilbury one did. Potentially could be the shade though that's affecting that. So I don't know. I'm still sort of undecided on this product. The brush that I used from Beauty for Real, I'm realizing I probably should have used the powder brush when I applied my powder, but I forgot. But this one, the complexion brush, is really, really nice. It's a dense brush, so anything that you need a dense brush for, like contour or bronzer, or as a way of just quickly applying your foundation, because it's so large, I think it would really cut down on the time spent blending. I really like this, and it's really, really soft. Obviously, I haven't washed it yet or anything like that, but it feels like it's really, really good quality. And so far, so good on this brush. Then we tried the Melt Gemini palette. I don't have any complaints about this palette. I loved every shade that I used, and I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the shades. There's only 2 that I didn't use, and it was the deepest brown and the black. I felt like the mattes were pigmented but blendable. The shimmers, you saw my reaction to those. They look gorgeous on the eyes, just completely foiled and stunning, and I only had to use my finger, no glitter glue, no wet brush or anything. So this one actually really has lived up to the hype, and the hype has been building for years on this palette. Let me know if you'd be interested to see another video using this palette, maybe like a multiple looks one palette or something like that. Since I have it in my collection now, I want to get the use out of it. So let me know if there's any other videos you would like to see with this one. And last but not least, the Sephora Clean Lip Oil. I really, really like this. Just on first impressions, it's very lightweight, but it feels hydrating. Like my lips feel like they're being nourished, but they don't feel heavy and they don't feel sticky or tacky. It feels very wearable, and I can absolutely see myself putting this in my bag to take with me. I really, really like the applicator. It's just a really nice doe foot that doesn't apply too much product. It seems like there's a ton of product in here for what you are paying for this. It has 10.7 mils or 0.36 fluid ounces. So I don't know, I really like the color of this. I feel like it could pair with lots of different looks. Pretty much any of my neutral lip liners. You could put it over top of like a deeper brown lip or over the top of a really light nude to make it a little bit more wearable. It actually reminds me of the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. The shade of it reminds me of the shade of that one. Let me swatch them side by side. The Summer Fridays is a little bit more of like a sticky gloss kind of a formula, although it is very, very hydrating and nourishing. And I absolutely love the Summer Fridays one. Okay, these swatches aren't superb, but what else is new on this channel? This one is the Summer Fridays in Vanilla Beige, and this one is the Sephora Clean Glossy Lip Oil in Tamarind. I think the Sephora is a touch more brown, and the Vanilla Beige is a little bit more peachy. Let me move my lights around so hopefully you can see the true tones a little bit better. But they are pretty darn close, and the amount of shine is also really similar. So maybe if you wanted the look of the Summer Fridays Vanilla Beige, which I know I've raved about on my Instagram and a lot of other people have too, but you don't feel like paying the Summer Fridays price point, and this one is available still on Sephora, this might be a good alternative. It's not an exact dupe. This one actually has more pigment. But it's really, really close, and I think it gives a really similar effect when it's actually on the lips. So super, super happy with this one. And with that, I am done buying lip products because I have too many. Done buying eyeshadow palettes. I'm done buying makeup for a while. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, seeing me use some new products, but also hearing me talk about why I'm trying to limit the amount of new products that I'm bringing in through my no-buy. Thank you so much for sticking through this chatty video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please just give it a like before you go if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one, and I will talk to you then. Bye.